a story set in the present day. A deadly virus spreads rapidly, killing thousands within a week. The government swiftly enforces martial law and seals the borders to contain the outbreak. Citizens are ordered to stay home, but many rush toward the border, hoping to escape the quarantine. When an infected person is discovered among the crowd, the soldiers do not hesitate to open fire. As a result, the victims' blood splatters onto the surrounding people. Panic erupts, and the enraged civilians retaliate against the soldiers. The soldiers quickly move toward the border before they are completely overrun by the relentless crowd. Not far from the checkpoint, a woman named Catherine sees several soldiers boarding a helicopter. Desperate, she runs forward and begs them to take her daughter in. With trembling hands, she hands them a slip of paper with an address written on it, hoping Eden will know where to find her mother. What really happened? Once the border is sealed, Scotland is completely isolated from the rest of England. Those trapped inside the quarantine zone are abandoned. Left without aid or hope, with resources running out, people resort to eating whatever they can find: rats, dogs, even other humans. Before long, the lights in the quarantine zone go out, signaling that everyone inside has perished. England itself eventually falls into poverty after other nations treat them the same way they once treated Scotland. 27 years later, Eden has grown into a formidable woman and now serves as a major. She leads an assault on a ship belonging to a slave trader named Richter. Alongside her comrade, John, Eden infiltrates the vessel, and the two split up to complete their respective missions. As Richter negotiates with the client, a gunfight suddenly erupts. On the other hand, upon hearing Richter's voice, Eden throws her synthetic eye into the corridor to monitor the situation through the screen on her wristwatch. Slowly, she approaches, aiming her pistol at Richter. The mission is a success, though unfortunately, John loses his life in the process. The head of the Department of Homeland Security, Bill, approaches Eden as she stares at the slip of paper left behind by her mother 27 years ago. Bill asks about what happened to John, and Eden hands him the disc from her watch, indicating that he can see for himself through the recording. Eden then laments that she no longer remembers what her mother's face looks like and expresses her disappointment at being unable to visit the address written on the paper. Bill does not respond to her statement. Instead, he warns her that she will destroy herself if she keeps working without rest. He then tells her to go home and take a break. The next day, the police conduct a raid after suspecting drug activity in an abandoned building. However, they are shocked to find a room filled with people whose bodies are covered in wounds and sores. Michael, a high-ranking government official, reports the incident to Prime Minister Hatcher, revealing that the Riper virus, once believed to have been eradicated, is now spreading in London. Hatcher immediately calls for an emergency meeting to devise a plan to stop the outbreak. Hatcher agrees with June's proposal to isolate London, but Bill warns that chaos will erupt once people see the streets littered with the bodies of infection victims. After the meeting, Michael, or Mike, shows Bill a satellite photo taken 3 years ago, which depicts people still walking the streets of Glasgow. Mike suspects that these individuals may have survived because they found a vaccine for the Riper virus. He then instructs Bill to find someone capable of leading an operation to retrieve the cure. Naturally, Bill selects his top soldier, Eden. He brings her to meet Mike before stepping out of the car. Eden hands Bill her mother's note and asks him to keep it safe. Mike then reveals that Dr. Marcus Kane had been researching the Riper virus before the quarantine was enforced, and that his laboratory was located in Glasgow's infectious disease hospital. Mike believes Kane is the only one who can develop a vaccine and suggests that Eden start her search in his lab. Eden and her team are given 48 hours to complete the mission. Meanwhile, the people of London grow increasingly frustrated with the strict quarantine measures. Just as Bill had warned, riots begin to break out. Hatcher consults with Mike, hoping to find a solution. However, Mike instead suggests that the quarantine zone should not be evacuated, believing that the more people they save, the higher the chance of the outbreak returning. The scene shifts to Eden arriving at the Scottish border wall, where she meets her team consisting of Sergeant Norton, Corporal Chandler, Reed, Sniper Miller, and Carpenter. They explain the equipment and weapons prepared for the operation. Also joining them are two doctors, Talbot and Ben, who previously worked at the Ripovirus Research Center. The military opens the gates, and the team enters the Forbidden Zone in two armored personnel carriers, APCs. Whatever awaits them beyond the wall remains unknown. On their way to Glasgow, Talbot plays a recorded radio message from Kane, who had held out at the hospital until the very end. In the message, Kane describes the horrifying transformation of the city and its inhabitants. Upon arrival, the team enters the abandoned hospital and carefully moves through the building in search of Kane's laboratory.
How the hell we...
Suddenly, Chandler spots a girl standing in front of the APC and reports it to Eden. Eden forbids any approach, suspecting that the girl is likely infected. However, Chandler insists that she needs help. As the corporal gets closer, the girl suddenly collapses unconscious. Talbot suggests isolating her for examination, so Chandler carries her into the vehicle. The team finally locates the lab they were searching for, but suddenly they come under attack from savage, highly aggressive humans. Carpenter is killed in the assault. Meanwhile, the brutal attackers start throwing Molotov cocktails at their armored vehicles. Chandler and Reed try to find a way to extract Eden and the others. Out of nowhere, the girl Chandler had taken in wakes up and kills him. The assault from the savages continues, taking down more team members. Eden decides to escape the hospital using an elevator, then shoots a cable and detonates a grenade in the shaft to cushion the impact when the lift lands. Reed arrives to pick her up, but the ruthless attackers don't relent. One of them fires an arrow, killing Reed and causing the APC to lose control. The remaining team members exit the vehicle and fight back, opening fire. However, their dwindling numbers leave them helpless as the savage horde closes in. Miller is slaughtered, while Norton and Ben manage to escape. Unfortunately, our protagonist is captured by the brutal cannibals.
Savages! Get your hands up!
Eden is now a prisoner of the savage leader, a sadistic and deranged man named Saul. The psychopath relentlessly beats Eden, demanding to know where she comes from and what her mission is. After enduring severe blows, Eden finally admits she came from beyond the wall. This revelation convinces Saul that Kane has been lying, as Kane had always claimed that no life existed outside. Saul sees an opportunity to escape the zone by using Eden, whom they plan to keep alive. Saul orders his men to guard Eden carefully, warning them not to let her die. After that, the savages throw a massive feast, following singing, dancing, and various performances. Saul delivers an emotional speech on stage, declaring that no one can control them, not even Kane. He vows to capture, burn, and devour anyone who comes from the outside. The insane celebration culminates in a gruesome banquet, where Saul throws plates to the crowd before bringing Dr. Talbot into the arena to be eaten alive. Back in her cell, Eden formulates an escape plan. She pulls a wire from a broken tracking device and uses it to pick the lock on her cuffs. Moments later, one of Saul's men enters with a piece of Talbot's flesh, which Eden takes advantage of. A girl in the neighboring cell, named Kelly, reveals that Kane is her father. She promises to help Eden find Kane if Eden frees her. Suddenly, Saul's lover, Viper, attacks. A brutal fight ensues, and after Eden kills Viper, she and Kelly escape the prison and contact Norton and Ben to arrange a rendezvous at the train station. Unfortunately, Their plan proves far from simple, as Saul discovers Eden's escape and the death of his lover, prompting him to unleash his forces to hunt them down. Norton and Ben, emerging from hiding, are spotted by the cannibals, who give chase on motorcycles and even a bus. A tense high-speed pursuit unfolds as Norton and Ben race toward the train station, where Eden, Kelly, and a man named Joshua, Kelly's close friend, await. After escaping, Kelly explains that she can only lead them to Kane, not directly take them to him. She is certain that her father will try to eliminate her, as Kane now distrusts everyone if the people realize that Eden came from beyond the wall. They will know Kane has been lying. Kelly also admits that Saul, the deranged cannibal leader, is her brother. After disembarking from the train, the group continues on foot toward an abandoned military base. Kelly and Joshua explain that this is the route leading to the other side of the forest. As they reach the woods, a sound alerts Kelly and Joshua that Kane's trusted enforcers have arrived. Ben, Kelly, and Joshua flee, while Eden and Norton choose to stand their ground. Moments later, Kane's men emerge, and to Eden's shock, they appear like medieval knights, complete with armor, bows, and lances. On the other hand, Kelly, Joshua, and Ben failed to escape. Joshua was killed by an arrow, while Kelly and Ben were captured. Sometime later, Eden's group was brought to an ancient castle where Kane resides, who now claims to be the King of Scotland and has revived medieval culture in his territory. Kane explained that he knew cities would be monitored, so he chose this place, far from spies. He also knew that one day, someone would come from beyond the wall to figure out how they survived. Unfortunately, there is no such thing as a vaccine. Those who survived are the ones immune to the virus, or as the man calls them, nature's blessing. Eden then told Kane that the Riper virus had returned, which made the scientist angry because of Eden's audacity to ask for help after leaving Scotland.
They can burn in it. How dare they send you here to ask for...
Meanwhile, in London, thousands of people died from the horrific virus. One infected person even infiltrated the government building and used an axe to slaughter anyone. The man used the hands and even the head of an officer to pass through the security system. He sneaked into Prime Minister Hatch's office. Realizing this, Bill immediately acted, but unfortunately, the infected man's blood splattered on the Prime Minister. Not wanting to lose his power, Kane decided to execute the infiltrators from beyond the wall and punish his daughter for bringing outsiders into the castle. For Eden, the king prepared a special punishment. She had to face an armed executioner while being forbidden from using any weapons. Eden brutally won the fight. Meanwhile, Norton, Ben, and Kelly escaped their cell by attacking the guards and unlocking their cells. Kane, furious at the loss of his strongest man, ordered the execution of the prisoners. However, Norton, Ben, and Kelly fought back. They used confiscated weapons to defeat Kane's men and then rushed to escape the castle. Eden's group reached a military installation while the knights continued to chase them inside the secret base. They tried to find something useful. Surprisingly, they found a car, and moreover, Eden also found a phone. Unfortunately, Norton was struck by an arrow while closing the gate. Everyone was devastated, but the escape had to continue. Eden, Ben, and Kelly managed to leave the base and head toward the highway, while Eden contacted her superior, reporting that the mission was complete and requesting a team to pick them up. Of course, This was not as easy as planned because the savage group was still hunting Eden and her friends. This time, they were crazier than before. In the end, Saul was killed, and Eden's group managed to escape towards the border. A military helicopter arrived with Mike inside. Eden handed Kelly over to them and explained that the girl had immunity to the ripovirus, so her blood could be used to create a vaccine. However, Mike was not planning to use the vaccine immediately. He wanted to wait until the pandemic spread worldwide so he could dominate the planet.
Choice.
So that's it.
I've got nothing left to buy.
Eden refused to join Kelly and Ben because she preferred to stay in Glasgow. She headed to her childhood home, the address written on a note. There, she saw old photos and could not hold back her tears. At the same time, Bill arrived with another helicopter, and at this moment, our protagonist handed over a disc containing a conversation recording with Mike. Eden was confident that the recording was enough to bring Mike to trial. The film closed with Bill leaving the area and Eden heading towards the savage group's headquarters, showing Saul's head. The cannibals regarded Eden as their new leader. The question then arose, would Eden become savage as well? Or would she lead the group to build a better life? Funny and action-packed, with a mix of various genres, but also carrying a serious message. It is hard not to feel the irony and cruelty of the tyrannical government. In the face of the deadly virus, the character Michael, or Mike, a senior advisor to the Prime Minister, cares more about maintaining his image and doing a cleanse to get rid of millions of citizens deemed useless, rather than stopping the spread of the virus to protect his people. The moment when Eden uses state surveillance technology to overthrow the government becomes a very satisfying part, full of irony. Meanwhile, Kane's cowardly decision to isolate himself in a castle and claim himself as a king with a twisted Darwinian logic that only the strongest will survive, and he deserves to rule, reminds us of those who have the privilege to hide when a crisis strikes. The socio-political parallels in this film are not only related to the pandemic. Before the British government decided to isolate Scotland, the military triggered riots by shooting an unarmed man who seemed to be infected with the virus. This scene is very familiar, especially in the context of peaceful protest movements that often turn violent due to the actions of irresponsible individuals. Meanwhile, the military flees from the problems they created, leaving innocent, marginalized people to die. However, in Doomsday, there is one figure who tries to change everything, and that is Eden, coincidentally or not. Eden is a native of Scotland who managed to escape when the country was isolated. The director seems to be conveying that we cannot rely on outsiders, no matter how good their intentions are. Only those with similar experiences can truly help. Eden, like other heroes, is here to solve the problem. She is strong, tough, and sometimes humorous. With her characteristic cold demeanor, Eden still exudes cleverness, humor, and a rebellious side at crucial moments. Quite impressive, I think. This film may not be the perfect blend of political commentary and spectacular action. Like Mad Max, Fury Road, it also doesn't try to be like that. Doomsday is a full tribute to the genre of films that are aware of their own absurdity. This film invites the audience to laugh and remember how enjoyable a film can be, especially with a punk rock genre filled with extraordinary scenes, from flying heads to gladiatorial battles to car chases. At the end of the film, Eden chooses to stay in cannibal-filled Scotland rather than return to England. Why? I think Eden realized that civilization is not always more humane than barbarism. Although technology and progress in London appear superior, the corruption and neglect of the people reflect the same level of decay. What do you think? I guess that's all for now, friends. Don't forget to continue supporting this channel by sharing, liking, and subscribing, because your support is crucial for the development of this channel. Let me know if you need any further adjustments.